What is up, everyone? I'm Chris, and welcome back to Emulate Sauce. Welcome back to our channel. Yes, I know. Yet again, we have not posted in a good while. We were trying to, get back, but then, we hit some obstacles. But hopefully now everything should be all good. And I'm gonna try to get back into the groove of making these videos, which it's gonna be kind of hard, but I want to get back into uploading frequently. Anyways, now that we have that out of the way, what we want for the future of our channel is that we want to slowly spread out to content that is also other forms of media like Marvel, DC, TV shows, and movies. Anime will still be our main focus, but we would also like to make videos on other topics. And so today we'll be making a combination of the Marvel Cinematic Universe and My Hero Academia anime TV show. So we welcome you all to our new What If series. We are starting called What If My Hero Academia Was in the MCU? Now let me explain some things before we get it started. Obviously, we are gonna have to change up some things, but we are gonna make the timeline of the MCU rather be the same, but also adding some more movies for like the MHA characters we are adding. Also, another thing, since there are so many characters in the My Hero Academia universe, sadly we cannot include everyone. So currently we only have a few selected that would be in the series as of right now. But if there's a certain character that I want to see in the universe, comment down below, tell us, and maybe if a lot of people like it enough, we might add them in the future. Also, one more thing to point out, the power scaling might have some tune-ups and downs, so please don't get upset in this What If. It's only for entertainment and not for actual scaling. I just want to entertain y'all for this little idea. Without further ado, let's dive into what if the My Hero Academia universe was in the Marvel Cinematic Universe. This story will begin around the time Captain America the First Avenger. Now this story, we will be changing up some stuff so that we can start off the story of One for All and All for One. Now since this movie was based around World War II, Japan was allied with Germany, but when Red Skull got his hand on the Tesseract, some Japanese scientists were made to study the artifact. And two people that were studying were All for One, obviously before he became that, but we don't know his full official name right now, and his sibling, Yoichi Shigaraki. All for One was more evil intent during the war and only cared for winning, while Yoichi was more humble and just wanted things to settle peacefully. They always were on the different end of the stick and when it came to almost anything. But they were studying the artifact, an accident occurred while they were experimenting, and the Tesseract gave them both the ability to give out quirks, or currently it'd just be known as powers rather than quirks, and a separate ability for each of them. You'll see where I'm going with this on later on. And they also each gain a different ability. All for One getting his ability to take quirks, and Yuichi getting One for All, the quirk of stockpiling and passing on quirks. They were both tested on to see what would happen to their physical bodies, and as soon as it was known that they had abilities, they would have the edge in the war. All for One was more thrilled as they had the edge over America and could easily win the war. Many tests were going on, and not later, All for One was able to give other superpowered abilities. This worried Yuichi and didn't think this would be right, so he would slowly distance himself and end up escaping and leaving Japan for America. No one really noticed him as they were more focused on All for One and giving Japanese soldiers powers. All for One ended up noticing that his brother was gone and was angered and considered him a traitor for leaving. Now around this time, Steve Rogers, already injected with the super soldier serum, Yuichi would end up being captured by the army and was interrogated by Peggy Carter, as Yuichi was trying to warn them about the horrifying power that the Japanese had unlocked because of the Tesseract, as he also wanted to assist to stop his brother, who was motivated to end the war and rule all of America. He ended up showing footage of the powers and tests that the Japanese were doing, and this kind of worried the US Army, and even Steve, as Peggy said that they would need an army of super soldiers just to hold them back. But Yuichi said that he could possibly do the same thing that his brother is doing, and he is willing to help them fight against his own brother. And now this is where the story starts splitting away from the movie Captain America the First Avenger, and that movie will continue on as normal, but with a little change of the post-credit scene where Steve wakes up from his coma to be greeted by Nick Fury, and All Might. Now, from a director's standpoint, the continuation of Ryuichi's story will be told in another movie, and that next movie is All Might Origins. Now, this movie would be around the year 1990, as this would introduce a person telling the story of what the first user of One for All, Yoichi, has done for America. We will continue where we left off with Yoichi. Back during World War II, there was one big battle amongst America and Japanese soldiers, where the soldiers all had powers, also given the name quirks. America had a selection of group of soldiers that were given quirks from Yoichi, and had a battle with Japanese soldiers that would also had quirks. Yoichi was in the battlefield going against his brother All for One. At that point, Yuichi's brother got the name All for One because during the test, All for One figured out that he had other abilities of taking away people's quirks. So with also giving people's quirk, he was also stealing something he found rather interesting. So All for One was much more powerful than anyone. America had the advantage until All for One arrived, as he killed some soldiers and also took quirks from others, as they started losing horribly. Soon, it was just All for One left against the rest of the US Army, as they were losing, but then All for One was having trouble controlling the many quirks he had, which gave a hurt Yoichi a chance to attack his brother and beat him. But Yoichi was heavily damaged, as he was bound to die. While heading back, he ends up passing the quirk One for All to the same second user as in the anime, telling him only the people who would be pure and worthy of the quirk would be handed down the power as he passed away. All for One was presumed dead, but that wasn't the case, as other future users of One for All had to face him. Between the years of 1945 to 1990, there were still a good amount of people who had quirks, as they were labeled as quirk users. But they were made to be hidden with their special abilities, and most became agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. Agents of S.H.I.E.L.D. had special candidates to be put to the test to be the next user of One for All. When the time came, a little side note, the same users of One for All in the anime got One for All in these movies, just so make it less complicated. Throughout the years, S.H.I.E.L.D. agents that were quirk users were mainly used to deal with quirk-related problems, and also having to deal with All for One, but a good majority of them were either killed by All for One or their quirks were taken. Even though most quirk users were agents, some ended up laying low and they had children, and their quirks were mutated to their kin, and they would either have a similar quirk or something new. But with more quirk users being born, the more quirks All for One could collect and hunt down more quirk users. Quirk users were a great mystery to the main society, and most people thought of them as myth, since quirk users hardly used their powers only if absolutely necessary. As we fade through to see an 18-year-old Toshinori Yagi, also as All Might if you don't know. He's running by a burning building as he looks to see the horror that people are still inside and no one is here yet to help those people, as he decides to run into the burning building to try to help people that are in danger. Toshinori is just a normal boy without a quirk or power, but he doesn't hesitate to go save those people. He would enter to see the people calling for help as he moves any debris he can to give them a passage through, as then a distraught mother asks him to help find her daughter as she lost her somewhere in the building. Toshinori goes deeper into the building trying to find the little girl, as he finds her under a bed. Toshinori tries to get her out and to calm her down, and as soon as he picks her up the ground, he sees that the building is giving out as he tries to book it out of there, but then the floor gives in and his foot is caught. He sees the roof giving out as he tells the little girl to get under him as he would try to protect her. In his mind, he believes this would be it for him. But then he feels a powerful burst of wind, and then he hears a woman saying that he is a real hero for risking his own life for others, as he looks over to see that he was just saved by the current user of One for All, which is Nana Shimura, as she is one of the first quirk users to be outed and become a public hero, even though with the disapproval of S.H.I.E.L.D. Toshinori looked up to Nana as a hero, as she also worked with Gran Torino, the second known quirk user hero. Nana helped save Toshinori and the girl and brought them to safety, and she even took a liking to Toshinori, and Toshinori thanked Nana for saving him as she grabs him by the shoulder and starts flying with him. Nana meets up with Gran Torino and a scared Toshinori, as she tells Torino that she wants Toshinori to be the one to get One for All. Torino obviously disapproves, saying that that's not how it works with S.H.I.E.L.D. She explained that she sees that he is pure and is worthy of the next user of One for All. She felt that S.H.I.E.L.D. was unsafe at the time, and for the first time ever, One for All was passed to someone who was not in S.H.I.E.L.D. Toshinori was confused as Nana explained that she obtained All for One 5 years ago when she was a S.H.I.E.L.D. agent, with also being a quirk user, as her quirk being float. She was on a mission with the current wielder of One for All, N. Their mission ended up going wrong and they were faced against All For One, and sadly, that fight didn't end well too, as End ended up passing One For All to Nana, saying that she is worthy to be the next user of One For All, as he sacrificed himself so that she can get to safety. Throughout her first year of having the quirk, many agents didn't think she was the right person to wield the quirk, and even many wanted her to quit and give it to someone else. With all the doubt, she ended up quitting S.H.I.E.L.D. and became a public hero with the use of One For All. And with her 5 years of being a hero, she saved many lives, stopped many criminals, and everyone loved her. Nana would decide to take Toshinori to make him the next user of One For All. Throughout his debut as a hero, he was trained by Nana and Torino to be the next user, and it was going well as soon as he became popular with the citizens, as he also got the name All Might. All Might would stop normal criminals and even fight some evil quirk users. Everyone saw the pure strength that All Might had. There would be some backlash from S.H.I.E.L.D. saying that Nana shouldn't have given Toshinori One For All, but Nana defended Toshinori. Toshinori and Nana had a talk saying that she didn't trust S.H.I.E.L.D. as it felt like things weren't right. As she talks about Yoshi being one of the founders of S.H.I.E.L.D., but throughout the years things just haven't felt right. Nana then smiles, saying that without S.H.I.E.L.D. they will be heroes, and Torino and her will keep training All Might to be the best he can be. Toshinori was happy that his idol defended him and believed in him, but then suddenly nearby there's an explosion by the city, as all three of them head that way to see what the situation was. As it was All For One once again, as they all try to work together to fight against him. At first they had the upper hand, but throughout the years, All For One became professional with his quirks, and with his experience he was a tough opponent, but his main goal was to end the passing of One For All. Soon the battlefield would have turned to All For One's side, and it would end the same way it did in the anime, as Nana sacrificed herself to let Torino and All Might escape. To All Might's horror, to see his idol die protecting him. After that, he and Torino had to lay low, but All Might was still stunned to have lost his mentor, and wanted to revenge her death by bringing All For One down. Torino asked him what was his plan to do, as in a few years would pass. The post-credit scene would show Toshinori, age 23, going to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. as he meets with the young Nick Fury in 1995. Avengers. Now this movie would start on the same as Nick wanting to start the Avengers initiative, but there are a few more members. Obviously All Might would be the first member, but there are 2 extra heroes we have not gone over yet. An agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. with extremely well hand-to-hand combat, specializing in fighting quirk users, and with a quirk that cancels out other people's quirks. His name is Shota Aizawa, or codename Eraserhead. His time with S.H.I.E.L.D., he was mainly worked with Black Widow and Hawkeye. The other extra Avenger is one who is sometimes hard to deal with, causes some problems and family problems. A flame hero, Endeavor. Throughout his years as an agent, he and All Might work together closely. Endeavor's thoughts on All Might is the same as normal. He just likes him and tries to be better than him, but always comes out as second. But he still works assigned him because of his affiliation with S.H.I.E.L.D. Natasha and Endeavor would go recruit Bruce Banner, while Aizawa and Phil would go to talk to Tony, and upon meeting Tony, Aizawa instantly dislikes him. While Nick and All Might go to Steve about a new threat appearing. Now when heading to Germany, Loki has already met with a much larger group of heroes, now with Steve, Tony, and Nat, but there's also All Might, Endeavor, and Aizawa. When heading back, Thor will still try to get Loki back, as Iron Man and Cap will go get Loki. All Might would join them as Endeavor tries to go, but All Might stops him, saying that they should head back. Thor would be fighting Tony as All Might steps in, telling Thor that he should back down now, as this makes Thor laugh, as All Might would send a decent sized pressure wave to Thor, which sends him flying back a bit and being a bit stunned at his strength. Tony is also impressed, saying that he should be careful with All Might. Cap would arrive to stop the fighting as they all head back to the helicarrier. When they get the entire Avengers together, Steve would be happy to see Toshinori, as he met the original user of One For All, and is glad that the quirk was passed down to the right hands. Toshinori and Steve got along rather quickly, as Steve sees All Might as an admirable hero. Toshinori does mention to Bruce of how strong could the Hulk be, but Bruce tries to avoid the question, as he is not trying to become the Hulk for S.H.I.E.L.D., as the Hulk is a dangerous thing to deal with, as All Might laughs a bit, saying that he could probably take down the Hulk by himself. Tony and Bruce would be studying the scepter and reveal the plans on what S.H.I.E.L.D. is planning to do with the Tesseract. This angers All Might, that Nana was right to think that S.H.I.E.L.D. was hiding something when he steps to Nick Fury. Aizawa activates his quirk to power down All Might in case if he tries to do something, as the rest would continue their argument. And in addition to the group of members that Loki controlled in the beginning, he also took control of agents that were quirk users. So rather, everyone would be dealing with the same problem. All Might, Aizawa, and Endeavor will be fighting off fellow quirk users. As Loki would still end up escaping as normal. Nick would use Coulson's death to motivate the Avengers to work as a team. Loki would still open up a portal that will let the Chitauri invasion begin. They all rally up into New York to stop Loki and to close the portal. Aizawa would be on the ground with Steve and Natasha to handle any Chitauris that are on the ground, as Steve is impressed with how good Aizawa's hand-to-hand combat is. Endeavor would be flying around with Tony as he would use his intense flames to burn Chitauris and even be able to defeat bigger aliens whenever he uses his more intense, stronger flames. All Might would be handling the huge threats with Hulk as they both possess enormous amount of strength, but then All Might will divert his attention to the device that is opening the portal as he would head over there and then use a full power smash to attempt to destroy the device, but the barrier protects it and reflects the attack All Might sent. All Might would quickly maneuver around his attack as he would see Loki at Stark's tower as he heads to that direction. He tells Loki that he should surrender now, but the entire time All Might is talking to Loki. With Loki being the god of mischief, he made a copy of himself to distract All Might as he sneaks up to All Might and he uses the scepter to put him under his control. As Loki says that he would be a good ally to have as All Might is stunned. Loki gives a command to All Might, but he doesn't move an inch, and this confuses Loki as he knows that he tapped All Might's heart. In All Might's head, he's in his younger body as he is surrounded by a mysterious mist as he looks around to see Nana, and this shocks him as he doesn't know what he is in right now. As he looks to see other figure of people, and it takes him a moment to realize that he is looking to all the previous users of One for All. But then he looks to the opposite side of him to see a smaller figure that looks like a teenager, and the only feature he can see is his green messy hair, with the rest of him being covered in green mist. Outside of his head, he shoots a big pressure wave that snaps him out of the mind control, and the pressure wave knocks Loki back. All Might will use the scepter to bring back Dr. Selvig so that he can close the portal, but then All Might is notified about the nuke that is heading to New York City. He asks how are they going to bring the nuke to a safe place as he sees Tony carrying the nuke to the portal, as All Might says that it's too dangerous, but he would see Tony go into the portal as Tony would throw the nuke as normal and pass out as he quickly falls down, as All Might would safely catch Tony as he would bring him down to the others. They would worry that he is dead, but then he would wake up and they would all celebrate by getting shawarmas. And yet in the movie, they would all go their own way, as All Might would be thinking about how he saw all the previous users of One for All, and a mysterious kid that he never saw, and thinks that possibly in the near future, he would meet this kid, and he would be the next wielder of the quirk. But then he would don his Silver Age costume as he would continue doing his hero work. And that's where we're going to stop on part 1, because I just wanted to end it on the end of phase 1. But guys, let me know what y'all think, how I changed up a lot about the origins of, I'm making like quirk users as like their own species, and how I took the moment where Deku saw the other users and I gave it to All Might. Basically how I changed up a lot of basically the whole motion of quirks. It basically, if you have any ideas or other what ifs you want us to do, leave it down in the comments down below. Comment down what you think about this part and what you think is going to happen in the future, because I don't know, All Might might be looking for Deku early now. But yeah guys, thank you all so much for all the support. Yet again, I'm sorry for we just keep disappearing on y'all. We're gonna try to do that. And I also see that we're almost at 5,000 subscribers. I probably have to get starting into that 5K special, try to get it out before it's really late. But other than that guys, thank you all so much for watching. Subscribe if you enjoyed, leave a like, and we'll see y'all in the next video. Peace.